Hey you all, I'm also hi to fellow dressmakers. You're welcome to another interesting tutorial. And in this tutorial, we'll be learning how to make this gorgeous dress with so many amazing features. I love this dress so much. The dart manipulation, the flowy flounce, the stylish gathered or ruffled skirt. I love everything about it. So if you're interested, let me show you how to go about it. Your pattern paper should be on fold, or better still you can draft and transfer later to a folded paper. But then the line you see will serve as the shoulder line, and from that line I'm going to go down to the bust point line, then I'll go down to my under bust line and then down to my waistline. In case you're wondering, this is not bustier and we are not contouring any under bust. But you will need that line, that under bust line for something which you will find out in this video. So I mark from shoulder to the bust point line, from shoulder to the under bust, from shoulder to the waistline. Then I'll go ahead and label them shoulder line, bust point line, under bust line, and the waistline. Now on the shoulder line, I'm going to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2. And then I'll go down to the chest line. And on that point again, I'm going to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2. Use my ruler to mark it out this way. The next thing now is to mark my standard neck width of 3 inches. Then I'll come down here to 1.5 for the shoulder slope and go ahead and connect from that shoulder slope to the neck width this way. The next thing is to measure from this shoulder slope to the chest line, get the midpoint, and on that point I'll be going in to half inch, then come to the chest line and take the bust measurement divided by 4 plus half inch ease. Put your ear down. Plus half inch ease. Then I'll go ahead and cover the armhole like you see me do it here. Next, I'm going to mark my actual neck width of 3.5, and for the neck depth, I'm using 4 inches as the neck depth. Then I'll just go ahead and square the line this way using the neck width and the neck depth, just so I cover the neckline better. And then I'm going to be placing my curve like this and curve the neckline this exact way you see me do it here. Afterwards, I'm going to be marking my bust span on the bust point line and also on the waistline and connect it like this. Then for the dart intake, I'll be using 0.75 on both sides of the bust span line. And at this point, you can decide to do just a bust dart and not do waist dart. Or better still, you can even do a combination of waist dart and bust dart. But I recommend you do either of them, like either the waist dart or the bust dart. Do you understand? So I use 0.75, which is 1.5. You can do your own waist dart value. For me, it's 1.5. Then I'll take the waist measurement divided by 4, then measure the dart intake and replace it and connect from the waist measurement to the bust measurement. Now on the neck depth, I'm going to be coming in to about 2 inches this way and connect it to the bust span just like this. The next thing we'll be doing now is to trace this out, trace all these lines, all the curves, just so it reflects on the other side of the paper. And immediately after tracing, I'll go ahead and I'll use my pencil to mark the lines and the curves out. First, I'll have to cut it out this way, open it up, then use my pencil to just mark on the traced part. Use my curve where I need to use my curve, just so everything I have on this side is reflected on the other side. And yeah, afterwards, this is what we have. The next thing now is to label this left and right, just so you know which part is which part and which part you are working on. Then coming to this side, this left hand side here, from the neck width, I'll be coming into 1 inch, 1 inch here. Then I'm going to come from here, from this bust span on the bust point line, I'll come in to about 2.5. You can also do 3 inches, just so it goes to the side more. Then you're going to connect it like that to the under bust. Then you're going to take it from this dart leg, the first dart leg here, to this line that we have here. Do you understand? Just go ahead and place your ruler straight, like use the straight part of your ruler. Don't bother curving. Not that it's bad if you curve, but not like it changes anything. Just go ahead and save yourself the stress and use the straight part of your ruler to connect it, and that way it looks slanty instead of curved like this one. Working with this curved line might be harder for a beginner, but if you use the straight part of your ruler, it will be easier for you. I'll just fold the paper, cut out the neckline just so it's the same on both sides, yeah. And then we'll be transferring this dart. We'll transfer the waist dart to the neckline, and doing that, you see that I opened up that line, then slash one of the waist dart leg, and then apply my water glue and place it on the other side. I'll repeat the same thing on this other part. slash the line we have along the neckline, then go ahead and close the waist dart just like this. Now we have transferred the waist dart to this neckline, and that's how it's going to be. You understand? The next thing now is to go ahead and blend in the waistline, and what this will do is to add excess fabric along that part, which will also help with the part where we'll still be adding a fullness to. We just keep watching, you will see that. But if you don't want to blend in this waistline, leave it curved like that. It's a that on its own and it will work better like that. But if you want, you go ahead and blend it in like you see me do it here. Then you're going to be cutting the waistline out this way and pretty much cut the rest of the pattern. That's the armhole, the shoulder line on both sides. Now the next thing we'll be doing now is to slash this line, yeah, because we want this dart to be bigger on one side. If you look at the style closely, you will see that this dart, one of them is bigger than the other one, and to do that you are going to be taking from the right hand side, the dart on the right hand side, and add it to the dart on the left hand side. Do you understand? So I'm going to make sure that the dart I have on this right hand side is about 1 inch instead of the 1.5 we have here now. So you're simply going to tilt the slashed one. Make sure you have about 1 inch, that's in, yeah, that intake here. Just 1 inch, just so you transfer half to the other part and make that about 2 inches or even 2.25. Yeah, then you're going to be closing it like you see me do it here. Make sure you have your 1 inch. Once you're sure of that, then you're going to just tape it down nicely like this. The next thing we'll be doing now is to blend in the dart this way, just so it also reflects on this fresh paper that we just used to close the dart. Do you understand? Then you're going to be cutting the dart out on both sides this way. Now looking at it, you see that one of them is bigger and the other one is smaller. That's how you go about it. Now you can decide to compare and contrast by measuring the both to see what you have. But then the next thing you'll be doing is to throw the dart legs, just so you won't have any shortage on the neckline. So you're measuring from the neck width this way. Yeah, the neck depth all the way to the bust point. Then you're going to also measure this one, and then at this point you can decide to like make up the shorter one, like the shorter part of this that now, to be the same length with the longer one, or better still, like I'm doing here, I'm trying to shorten the longer one to be the same length with the shorter one. Do you understand? So once I'm done taking the measurement, I'll just go ahead and use my curve again to blend it in this way. Then we go ahead and cut out the neckline, and this way we know that the neckline won't be bending or won't be distorted because one part is smaller or shorter than the other one. Now you're going to slash this and make sure you notch the beginning of this line that you're slashing. Make sure you notch it just so you also notch it on your fabric. Then you're going to bring in a fresh paper and transfer it this way. We will be spreading more on the shoulder, then smaller until we get to the waistline. Do you understand? So for the shoulder spread, you can do from 5 inches upwards, nothing less than 5 inches. From 5 inches upwards, you can even do 7 inches, but that also depends on your shoulder width. You want to do it in a way that the dart, when you fold it, won't be going to the armhole, out of the armhole. So take note of that. You're going to spread just as much as your shoulder line or shoulder width will contain, without the dart going to the neckline, out of the neckline, or going out of the armhole. So once you're sure, you're going to apply your water glue or just use your masking tape or cello tape to tape it down on both sides this way. Just make sure you are not shortening your spread while trying to tape it down, just as you can see me do it here. The next thing we'll be doing now is to simply go ahead and blend it in like this on the shoulder, and then we go ahead and cut it out. At this point, you can also decide to blend in the waistline if you want to, or better still, you just leave it. A curved waistline is not bad. Most times it even saves you from a lot of headache. So yeah, if you want to cut, blend it in, or you just cut it like that. But I choose to like blend it in because yeah, I want it to be straight like this, just so it also reflect like works with the straight skirt that will be coming later. So afterward, this is what we have. I went ahead to transfer this to a fresh paper because I wanted this to be neat, and this is what we have. Don't forget to notch the shoulder dart, that spread that you have on the shoulder, notch it. Then the dart you have on the neckline, notch it. Then there's something very important that I forgot to mention earlier. and that is you duplicating your pattern to use that for your lining before you transfer the dart to the neckline. But you can still do it. Since we have two pattern now, you can decide to just cut through this part that we just slashed and spread, just so you have the that we have on the neckline. Then you go ahead and transfer it back to the waistline, or better still, you transfer it to the bust. That's what I later work to it, but I'll be showing you how to do that later. Now, let's just go ahead and get the back pattern done. And the first thing you do is to mark your shoulder measurement divided by 2. You go down to your chest line and square it like you see me do it. Then you mark your standard neck width and your actual neck width you're working with. Slope the shoulder with 1 inch. Then you connect it to the standard neck width. Now, you're going to come down for the neck depth by 3 inches or how low you want it to be. But I recommend from 1.5 to 4 inches. Yeah. Then from the center back, you're going to come in on the waistline to about 0.75 or 1 inch, depending on how much you want to contour the center back here. And then the measurement will be starting from this line. On the chest line, I'll take the bust measurement divided by 4 plus half inch is. Then on the waistline, the waist measurement divided by 4. There is no that, and you are not adding is on the waistline. Then on the hip line, you are marking your hip measurement divided by 4 plus half inch or even 1 inch, just so it flares better. Then your half length should be stopping on your hip line, except when someone requests that it's longer than that. That's when you add to it. But ordinarily, following what you have on the thumbnail, it should stop just on your hip line. Now, to further contour the waistline more, I'll be going up 0.75 on both sides of the waistline, like upwards and downwards. And then I'm going to measure from the shoulder slope to the chest line to get the midpoint, just so I curve the armhole from the bust width to that midpoint. Now we are going to be closing these darts, and to do that you're going to slash one of the lines, apply your water glue and place the slashed one on the other dart leg, matching it up on the side seam line. Then afterwards you're going to be blending in the center back, because of course it will be distorted. Then afterwards you're going to measure your waist measurement divided by 4 again, and in most cases it adds about 0.25 to your waist measurement. Take it out just so your waistline is cinched. Do you understand? Then you follow the center back contour line and add your zipper allowance of 1 inch. Just follow this what you have on the center back and add that until you get to the top. Like I said, the length now is totally optional. But if you are working with what we are trying to copy here, just come down at most 2 inches from your hip line. Don't forget to add your ease allowance of half inch or even 1 inch to the hip line, just so it flows like the one we are trying to copy. Then once you're sure of all the measurements, you're going to be cutting it out. But I'm working on request. It was requested just as you see me do it here, but I'm trying to tell you how you to go about it. It's not even something out of the ordinary. Yeah, just let your half line stop on your hip line, or just come down 1 inch or 2 inches from your hip line if you want to. And the next thing we'll be doing now is to cut the front skirt. And since mine is getting all the way to the knee, like 4 inches above the knee, that's the length I'm using here. I'm going to just mark the lines out from waistline to the hip line, then down to the 4 inches above the knee line. That I'll be using as the knee line. I'll go ahead and mark out the lines like you see me do it here. I'll label them waistline, hip line, and the knee line, just so we know where we are taking our measurements on. So now on the waistline, I'll take the waist measurement divided by 4. There's no that. On the hip line, the hip measurement divided by 4 plus half inch. Then on the knee, which you are not working with, you're going to measure what you have on the back knee. If you're also working with it like that, and mark that same thing on the knee you have on the front pattern. Then you go ahead and connect the measurement, and you see that we added some ease to the hip line, because you see how exaggerated it's almost looking. You're going to blend it in this way, just so it's not pointy at the end of the day. Then you simply go ahead and cut it out, and it's looking like this. The next thing we'll be doing now is to match up the side front and the side back like we usually do. Just go ahead and match it up from the waistline upwards. Because there is no waist seam on the back is not an excuse not for you not to match up your pattern before transferring to the fabric. Cut off any excess anywhere you have it, or you add up to make up to the one that you have shortage. So now let's go ahead and transfer to the fabric, and I use this chiffon fabric and I use 4 yards. Before we cut anything, the first thing we have to do is to calculate the length and the width that you already have so that we know how we are cutting the gathers fabric. The first thing you take into consideration is your gown length, which for my case is 63 inches, and then the half length that you already cut out is about 33 inches. Yours should be from your shoulder to your hip line, yeah? That should be your half length. And then you're going to do gown length minus half length. And for my case, it's about 30 inches left. So 30 inches now will be the length for the gathered or ruffled part. And then for the wideness, you're going to measure what you have on the circumference of your half length. Yeah, you're going to measure it and then you're going to times it by 4. Remember, your paper should be on fold. Yeah, so whatever you measured on this paper now, you're going to times it by 2, and then that will also be the same thing for the back. Then you're going to times it by 4 or by 3 or even by 6, depending on how full you want it to be, how full you want that ruffled part to appear. But by 4 is okay, like timesing it by 4 is okay. So use your own measurement, whatever it gives you, that will be the width that you'll be working with. So here I need a whole of 102 inches as the wideness, then the length is this 30 inches. But then for this length, you will be adding something to the top and for the down too. So since the length is about 30 inches, you'll be needing 2 inches for the top part, because you see how the gathers was made, yeah? You will need about 2 inches or two and a half even, because you'll be folding before you gather. Like you fold the fabric before you gather 1 inch below the top of that fabric. I don't know if you understand. Then you also need about 1 inch or one and a half to fold on the down part. So add it all together to the skirt length that you measured, calculated earlier, and you know how much you have left. Then to cut out the front, this front pattern, you should be cutting it on fold. Do you understand? You should be cutting it on fold. So go ahead and place it like this, like you see me do it here. Since you are cutting it open and not on fold, yeah, you're going to place it diagonally on your fabric like this. Then you go ahead and pin it down and add your side seam allowance. I'm working with side seam allowance of 1 inch. And remember, we still have our half-inch ease allowance on the bust point line. So yeah, when you are doing your final measurement, remember that too, just so it comes out like you are trying to copy it. Do you understand? Then you add your stitching allowance on every other part, except on the side seam where I said I'm working with 1 inch side seam allowance. Then don't forget to notch the dart legs, both on the neckline and on the shoulder, because you will need that. We'll be stopping here for today. Then the next tutorial will be how to put all the pieces together and even cut the remaining parts. And I hope I see you on the next one.